You are listening to the Manhattan Tri Club Leading from the Front podcast. We are based in Manhattan, Illinois, a southwest suburb of Chicago. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Manhattan Tri Club. We hope you like the show. Hello, everybody. This is Manhattan Tri Club's Leading from the Front podcast number 4. Today, we're going to be talking about wearables, devices, data, all kinds of good stuff. Welcome. We're glad you're joining us. We have the entire MTC crew today. April. Hey, April. Bridget's in the house.
Yes. Hello.
Hey.
And I'm here, Chad and Grace. What's up, Grace?
Hi, everybody.
So we're back on our regular schedule, we hope. This will be published or dropped on Friday morning. So follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and you'll see the notices. And April does a great job. She's our chief marketing officer and makes sure that we get our social content up there in time, and so everybody can join us and have fun. So what do we got in Manhattan Tri Club news this week? We got a lot of good stuff. What do we got, April?
Do we talk about the biggest thing first, or are we going to build? So we've done a group run end of December. I don't even know what day today is, but we recently did a group run. We had some newbies come along, so that was fun. Lots of hills that my legs were not ready for. So Grace kicked my butt on that one. And then we just recently did a Zwift group ride. That was a lot of fun. Sure. That made the bike.
Yeah, I didn't hear. I wasn't able to join the ride.
The Zwift, so yeah.
It was a small group, but it was small and mighty, and we had a lot of fun. A lot of it was to try and work some of the bugs out. It was the first organized group ride, so the organizer, me, didn't set it up right, so I didn't band us together. So you back and forth, and when next one will be better. It's already scheduled, I believe, for this coming Saturday. Yeah, we'll confirm that. But it's when we band together, you can ride at your own pace. You can do your own workout, pedal as hard as you want. Doesn't matter what your FTP or wattage is. You're always going to be kind of in the same screen as the group that you're riding with. And yeah, we go on Discord, which is an app that you kind of talk, put your AirPods in, and you can talk and listen to everybody breathe heavy, but it's trying to give you as close to a group ride simulation as you can when you're cooped up inside. And it's while it's not the best, it's still better than looking at the walls yourself or just listening to music. So it was fun. We're gonna keep doing that, and hopefully we get some more to join us. And I know Bridget is going to be able to start joining us soon now that her all clear. That's breaking news.
Yes.
And Grace, we got to figure out your Peloton situation so that you can at least join us on the Discord and talk to us. We can all kind of ride you, but we'll figure that out.
Dun, dun, dun. By the end of this episode, we'll let you know when our next ride is. Big news. MTC did participated in their very first swim meet.
And not as a group, it was our first together, at least the 4 of us. Individually, I know it was my very first swim meet. Never in the 54 years almost that I've been on this earth thought I would participate in a swim meet. April, I don't think you've ever been in one. I know Bridget is an old expert at that. And Grace, I don't think that was your first one too, right?
My first. Never thought I'd participate in one. But it was fun.
It was, and it wasn't without drama. And just so everybody knows that we absolutely are all for one and one for all. Sacrifices were made that day.
They were.
And we accommodated each other. And I took a bullet for the team and actually did the backstroke in the 200 mixed relay, which was awful.
You did fantastic, though. You really did.
But fantastic is probably a relative term.
Incredible.
It is not objective.
Absolutely.
I think Bridget took one for the team even more so because she had to do butterfly the day after being released to be allowed.
It wasn't
to
pretty.
Participate in sports.
It wasn't pretty.
Pretty sure she didn't tell her doctor exactly what was on deck for on Friday afternoon.
I definitely did not, but
yeah. She also did not invite me to that appointment so that I didn't.
The manager
tell any
stories. Was left out of that doctor's appointment.
We have established that Bridget's agent sometimes falls short of her duties.
Correct.
Well, It just depends on if margaritas are involved or if not. Typically, I make good judgment. There was just one margarita night that we were very interested to see what those stitches looked like.
Candidly, I would hope that a 9 a.m. Friday morning appointment, margaritas wouldn't be involved at that point.
Correct.
But no, it was a lot of fun. There are some stats. All of us are really competitive, and I just want to point out that I participated in 2 individual events, the 50 and the 100, and I took first place in my age group in both events. Yay!
Freestyle, yes.
Congratulations, freestyle.
Yay! Woo woo!
Hey, April, can you tell everybody how many people were in my age group? Thank you. But it was still a first place.
1.
Hey, you showed up.
Yeah, how many people didn't show up? I had a similar situation in my 100 freestyle. I was the only one in my age group that did 100 free. I think this is a bigger deal. We all, well, not Bridget, because she's grown up swimming and, swam with a inflexible foot. But Chad, myself, and Grace all PR'd all of our races. That's
you guys
exciting.
Did so good.
Convenient that it was our first race, so it had to be a PR.
Yes.
But you know what I also think is so convenient? Chad and I were in the same heat for the 100 free, and conveniently, after a 50,
He did. I saw. He really
alleged
did.
little issues and had to fix them.
Well, I did have goggle issues. It did. I will be honest. It did save me from getting my ass kicked, but I would have got my ass kicked anyway. April started swimming around the same time as I did, maybe a little bit after me, even about 18 months ago. And it's just amazing how athletic April is. We've all worked really hard in the pool with masters, but it was a competition. We try to race once in a while, and it's usually 25 or 50 at the most. Rarely does it end up being 100. Our times are getting better as we learn how to swim better and learn the technique, and through Bridget's coaching and Val and Chuck and all the people that help us, times are getting better. But what was unbelievably impressive is April swam her 100 in 1 minute and 17 seconds. And that is flying.
And that's without flip turns.
Without flip turns, open turns.
Open turns.
For all the non-swimmers that are listening, flip turns make you go faster. I don't do them. Grace doesn't do them. April can do them, but doesn't. Bridget does them all the time. And real swimmers always do them. She did this without flip turns. It was an unbelievable time. She literally left me in the dust. No goggle issue or not. I just thought it was awesome. It was really cool to watch. My wife was there and she's like, damn, is she fast?
Yeah. Amazing.
Thank you. You all are too kind. It is funny though, because I've never watched myself. I've never videoed myself swimming, and what it feels like and what it looks like are 2 totally different things. That's for anything. But I was like, dang, I felt like I was so fast in that water. I would have thought I had jets on my back. And then I watch it and I'm like, oh God,
well, I think we've all got a lot to be proud of. We had some really cool supporters that were there. Liz was there, and Mike competed in a lot of events. And Mike is he's such an amazing swimmer. He did was it the 200 individual medley? And
the 200 IM, yep.
Oh my God, he's so good. And
we're going to call him Michael Phelpsy from now on.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's there cheering us on, and it's a cool little community that we're a part of. So thanks.
Shout out to Liz for cheering us on, and Marilyn was there, and Mike, and it was.
Marilyn set her 500 meter,
don't forget Marilyn
PR, and she's been swimming her entire life. It was awesome.
Yeah, inspiration for sure.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really awesome to watch Mike swim because we're in a race, and so you're all out. But at practice, we don't get to see people swim unless you're close by and you're asking for help. But it was a lot of fun, and I haven't competed. Like, an endurance race is different. I haven't competed in something like that in a really long time. So the adrenaline spikes, I was like, I need to take a nap after this. Like, this felt amazing. I am ready to sleep.
We do these pretty intense masters workouts, and we'll swim between 2,000 and 3,000 yards a couple of 3 days a week. And I'm usually not sore the next day. I only swam 500 yards in this meet with the warm-ups and everything. I woke up on Sunday morning, and my butt was killing me, my hamstrings, everything was sore. It's because I was kicking hard and I was doing all the things that good swimmers do. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you can kick.
I'll do it again. I'll definitely do it again.
Yay!
I will not do the backstroke again, Grace. So you better get working on that.
All right, I'll do it again.
You can do the butterfly, Chad.
No. So Bridget, how did your ankle feel with all of that nonsense we put you through?
Actually, it felt pretty good. It's just a little, still a little stiff, jumping off and, kicking hard. I was trying to concentrate on not kicking too hard, but shout out to Illinois Bone and Joint in Silver Cross. Dr.
Awesome.
Dean, he's the best. Yeah, Dr. Dean did the surgery, and man, it's been exactly 6 weeks, and, I am excited and ready to go. So started PT the other day, and so that felt good. So do another 4 weeks of PT, and then I should be good.
Awesome. You're back on the bike now, and you're going to be joining us on the Zwift ride. So
yep, look to it.
If you're tuning in late, which isn't really possible in a podcast, but join us on our Zwift rides. It'll be fun. I'll try to recruit some of my cycling friends and get them to join us too, and we can chat and bounce technical questions off of some of those guys too. Some pretty talented riders out there.
And confirmed, speaking of Zwift group ride, it is 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturday, January 24th, 2026.
The day after this podcast.
So join us.
We'll get that on.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you should already be in our Facebook group and on Instagram and on Strava with us.
Yeah. We have April give us some stats here in a little bit, but we have, I believe, 70 people on our Facebook group page, and it's awesome. There's more and more people. There's a few people that I don't even know that are being referred by other people, and triathletes, non-triathletes, just anybody interested in something new. So spread the word. Everybody can join, and it's a respectful page. Our Facebook members are starting to engage each other. April pointed that out the other day, and it's really cool. One of the things that was pointed out or dropped on our Facebook page from one of the local triathletes, Laura, is the indoor triathlon at Lincoln Way West High School on March 8th. So if you are interested in doing a sprint triathlon indoor, pretty easy format, 15-minute swim, 15-minute bike, 15-minute run. It's age group rated, and it's for a great cause. So that's the most important part of it. We are all doing it. We haven't talked Bridget fully into doing it yet, but we're going to see if we can talk her into it. We're going to try and race Wave 2 if they'll give it to us, and race as a team and just go out and have fun. Please sign up. The link is on our Facebook page. And that's it. That's awesome. So this part, I just wanted to mention why we're doing this. And we really want to differentiate ourselves on this podcast from all the other. There's a lot of good triathlon podcasts out there. I listen to a lot of them. I've mentioned a bunch of them. Two of main note, or three of them, are Crushing Iron. Those guys, I think, do an amazing job. They do 2 podcasts a week, and they rarely miss an episode. They've done, I think, 905 or 906 episodes since they've been doing this. And they're coaches. They run a club called C26. I know a few of the C26 guys. They chaperoned us down in Chattanooga. Just great people. Triathlon's such a cool community that this group from Tennessee reached out and chaperoned Curry and me when we did some pre-riding and running down in Chattanooga a couple years ago. And so it's a really good coaching type podcast. Tower 26 is a triathlon based podcast, but solely focused on swimming, and they have some really good content. But what we are trying to do is provide all of the adult athletes, not coaching, because none of us are coaches, none of us are physical therapists or trainers. We're just normal everyday athletes that are trying to do this sport because, one, we love it, it's fun, and we want to share our experiences with everybody and hopefully get and attract more people to this sport locally and even further. But I think that we've really started to create a cool community of triathletes, runners, cyclists, swimmers. There's a bunch of people already in our club that are just runners. I was going back and forth with a running friend, Jessica. She said, "I'm joining your club, but I'm never going to ride a bike." And I said, "Well, you should try it. I dare you." And she's a really talented runner. And just the fact that they joined our club and want to want to hang with us, we're going to try and co-brand with some of the local clubs like the FNRC Run Club, the Lincoln Way Let's Ride Cycle Club, and ERC Running. They're a really cool group of very talented runners. And that's really what we're trying to do. We've got, like I said, 70 about people in our Facebook group. Hopefully it's going to keep growing, and hopefully we can have more sophisticated events as the spring comes upon us, and do some cool quarry swims and group bike rides and runs. So keep spreading the word. This is really fun, and we're enjoying it. If you don't want us to do it, just don't listen.
Yeah, because we're either going to talk to each other alone or talk to each other on the air, and this is way more fun, it seems like. But also, contrary to what it sounds like, we are not just a swim podcast. I do want to point that out, that we will talk about biking and running. We are just in the Midwest. It is awful winter, and the most exciting thing that we have going on is swimming right now. So we will get into the other discipline. I just want to say thanks too. Like, all of our listeners have been really awesome and given great feedback, super supportive, like Chad said. So our listeners and also the other groups have been super supportive. We had a run group that, their run ended up getting canceled. We were doing a group run the next day, and they're like, hey, if you missed today's run, go run with MTC tomorrow. So we just really love the support. We're new to this space. We're new to a tri club. We're new to the podcast space. And just really appreciate the support that we've gotten so far. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that being said, on our last podcast, we've had 255 streams just on that one episode. So that is super exciting. Our most listened to episodes so far. If you haven't listened yet, it's with Val, our swim coach, who is also a doctor of physical therapy and owns her own practice. And we talk injuries, and it was amazing to talk to her. It's just really good to get insight from someone in the healthcare field. We're just like Chad said, we're not experts, so really good to hear that affirmations from her, or reassurances, or advice. So go back and listen to that one too. And then you can always find us, as always, if you like the show, or if you don't like the show, you can follow us too. I like hate watchers. That's cool too. You give us streams. But we hope you love us. But you can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube for the podcast. And then come find us on Facebook. We have a lot of engagement, a lot of suggestions, a lot of groups getting together on there. So that's exciting. And then we have our Strava group that we're posting our group events on there as well. Find us on Instagram. That one's a little bit more fun. Yep. Facebook is a little bit more business. Let's get the events going.
A cool little story. I got a text. I shared it with you guys, and it was from my neighbor, Kristen. And Kristen and Brian are awesome. We've lived in Manhattan here it'll be 20 years this summer. They moved in a couple months before us, so we've known them for a long time. They have their son is a year younger than my son, and their daughter is, I believe she's a senior in high school now, maybe a junior. And they're just a great family, great kids. Well, Kristen texted me last week and said, I just wanted you to know that Kayla and Matthew were talking about your podcast over dinner. This podcast has helped motivate them all to get a treadmill and start working out. They thanked me and loved what we're doing, and they're all non-triathletes. Kristen and Brian, they run. They're runners. The kids Kayla is an amazing athlete, but softball, volleyball. Matthew is a volleyball player. And Matthew, just to give Matthew a plug, he's a super motivated young man. He's either 18 or 19. Without going into a long story, a year or so ago, there was a gentleman that ran the Manhattan Weather Channel. And his name was Dan Casper, and he passed away. He was ill. And everybody in Manhattan would go to his Facebook for weather. Well, Matt started his own weather channel, and he kind of took it over, and he's got his own. It's called WTW. I'll put it in the show notes. WTW Manhattan, I believe. And he does all the forecasts and weather alerts, and just a really cool family. I'm glad to know them. Really awesome that they gave us all a compliment, and just wanted to say thanks to them personally for listening to us, and hopefully they get to hear this episode also.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then talk about it more over dinner.
Get the
Inspire
families
more,
involved. I
more
love
training,
it.
more workouts. I
It's
love it.
involved.
Well, the coolest story is when we first started setting up all the Facebook and Instagram and everything. Grace must have sent out a blanket text to her entire family and friend group. And we had like 30 people join, and they're all connected to Grace. So we would, we're open to looking for, or open to new ideas for podcasts. We've got, I'm not going to announce this officially yet, but we've got a really exciting guest that if you watch any type of swimming videos, you've seen some of the content. But this is a group that they do a lot of training, and they train Olympians, they train many of the pro triathletes, and they've agreed to come on the podcast. We got to work out some details, and hopefully that's going to come in a couple weeks. And we're all really excited, but cross your fingers that we get that all to happen, and it's going to be very cool. But one of the ideas that we want to have, like, listener questions. What do people want to know that we can maybe help answer, or at least point them in the right direction? If you have questions, post them in the Facebook group. We have a Gmail email account. It's manhattantriclub@gmail.com. We'll do our research. We'll try to help anybody out. If you have tough questions, we'll at least get you going in the right direction. We know a lot of people in the sport that can help, or in the medical field, whatever. So yeah, send us your questions, and we'll try to do an entire episode dedicated to listener questions if you guys would like that.
Yeah, and you can ask us anything. It doesn't have to be sport related. You can ask Grace what her favorite food is. You can ask, I don't know, Bridget what her favorite vacation is.
You can ask Chad, are you really as bad as you say you are at swimming?
The answer is no. He's not.
So Grace, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about our wearables and devices, things that we each like to use or maybe don't like to use. I know Chad and April, I don't think Bridget, or does Bridget, they have lumens?
Yeah, all three of us.
All three of you. So what do you guys think about your lumen?
Well, I'll start because I've been using it longest, and there's just us talking about Lumen has prompted at least 4 or 5 people that I know of to get Lumen and start using it. And that's just really cool, because I think it's not a magic bullet, but it's a device that creates awareness around your own personal health. And we have to take our own health seriously, especially as you get older, and pay attention to what you're putting in your body. And it's basically a device that helps you understand how your body is metabolizing protein and carbs. And your body is either in a fat burning metabolistic state, if that's a word, metabolized state, or a carb burning state. And sometimes you're in the middle. Sometimes so it's rated 1 through 5, and you blow in the device. You take a deep breath, hold it for 10 seconds, and then you blow slowly in the device. You got to keep this little ball in the circle on your phone, and it's reading the carbon dioxide, and it tells the device what you're metabolizing at that moment. So it helps create an awareness, because it then sets your macros for the day: your carbs, your fat, and your protein, and how many grams of each you'll have. And for me, it's helped me understand what I'm putting in my body. Sometimes you go off the rails. Sometimes we go out, have pizza, and I'm like, I ain't even going to blow in the damn thing because I know what it's going to say. But if 6 days of the week, if you're trying to keep on this, over the past, I'd say 6 or 8 months, I really only use it twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And just so I can see where I'm at, because now I've conditioned myself to kind of know. And then I put all my food into the phone, and it tells me how many grams of carbs, how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat I've had. And so after we were joking, one more closing thought, and then I'll shut up because you guys have experience too now. But we came out of a swim the other night, and Bridget's like, I wonder how many carbs I can eat when I go home for my snack, and I hope it's not just a banana.
20 grams of carb.
But I think for me, it's really helped. It's not going to make you lose weight. It's not going to make you eat healthy. It's going to create an awareness around what you're eating and how your body is reacting to what you eat. And I think just that awareness alone is going to create better habits for us. And I hope some of the others, Carlos and Trisha and some of the others that have started using these devices besides us are starting to see some of the same results. And I mean, just for everybody's perspective, Carlos is a general surgeon. He's highly educated. He knows our bodies probably better than any one of us. And he bought this device and he started using it because he's super interested in how his body is responding to the foods that he intakes. So that was a lot for me to say, and I kind of took over. I didn't mean to hijack, but you guys, April and Bridget, what's your experience with Lumen so far?
Yeah, and just so you know that we're not just drinking the Lumen Kool-Aid. Bridget and I started with MyFitnessPal, and I've also tried another tracking device that the name is escaping me now, but clearly wasn't worth it because I'm not using it anymore. But I'm actually, before I give my opinion, I'm super curious how Bridget likes the Lumen versus MyFitnessPal because we've used both.
Bit easier to scan the food, but you got to pay for that app to scan in it to work easily. But I'm really impressed with the Lumen. I don't feel like I'm on a diet like everything else or trying to count calories or anything. I'm really kind of understanding my body, and like it's kind of a game, like to me, to kind of, like wake up in the morning and I'm in fat burning and like this is awesome, and and to kind of understand. Really, the biggest thing I've gotten out of Lumen is with figuring out what foods, like who knew a banana to me, like a banana, like 20 grams of carbs. Like I'm taking that out of my protein shake because I don't want to add those extra carbs that I don't need. But I'm hitting way more protein than I ever have before. And really kind of looking at my, how much fat I'm eating and how much protein and carbs. So to me, it's kind of a game and I love it. My sister ended up getting one. And she's got a ton of allergies, and she's gluten and just a ton of issues with her body and food in her body. And the two of us have kind of like, we text all day, every day, kind of like, hey, are you a 2 or are you a 3? Or she's doing awesome. And so far I love it. It's been about 3 weeks and so far it's been really good.
That's great.
Maybe you need to put me in that group chat too, because I'm also on the side messaging you like, this is what I ate and it was 40. I got 40 protein grams. Like, let's go. Sending your recommendations for meals and stuff. Yeah, it's super interesting because where MyFitnessPal is tracking your calories and it gives you calories burned versus calories eaten, where like that for me wasn't enough. It's a good stepping stone and it's a good tool, just like any of these other food trackers are. But like I hit a plateau of like, I would like to lose a few pounds and I hit a plateau where I was still feeling sluggish. I'm not at my ideal weight that I feel like I should be at. And Lumen so far has helped me like keep going again and like get out of that plateau that I was at. But I do really, so on the other side, like Lumen doesn't track your calories, just like everybody said, it tracks your macros. So it does give you a calorie count, but it doesn't do that like intake versus output comparison. So you do kind of have to, like, if you are tracking your calories, you do need to make sure that you're aware of those. But I like Bridget said, I love, like, it does feel like a game. And then it's like, you feel like you're Mario that just got all the coins when you earn carbs, because who doesn't love a slice of bread? Come on. What the heck? Or a banana. And then also learning like what foods are, like nutrient dense versus, empty calories that you think that are healthy, but it's like, green beans versus zucchini versus cucumbers versus, it's just super interesting to learn more about food in that way. And then it keeps me engaged too, because it gives you like these mini bite-sized videos on how you can impact your metabolism too, like not just with food. And then it gives me the reminder every night to get off my freaking phone and stop scrolling. And it's like your circadian rhythm also, does your metabolism. So go to freaking bed. Yeah. I will say I do have a couple cons though. Does anybody have cons they want to share?
I don't know if cons is the right word, because I'm a full-blown believer. Like I said, not a magic bullet, but I think it definitely helped me personally in my journey of health, fitness, and nutrition. And I think you can be a really good athlete, eat like crap, and you're not seeing your full potential. And not that we're competing against anybody, we're competing against ourselves. And I think my goal is to, see at 54 years old, just how fit can I get realistically? I mean, I'm at the age where I'm not able to build muscle like I was in my 20s. So it's really hard to do certain things as you get older. And, let's face it, we're all trying to race the clock here and, make our lives longer and more productive and healthier. I think some of the cons that I have, because I'm a no nonsense food guy. My wife and I go out to dinner on the weekends, but I eat pre-packaged foods from a service. I've been on a couple different ones, and I found one that it has really good health benefits. The nutritional values are good for me. You can go on I'm on a low carb program with this firm. It's called Cook Unity, and they deliver your meals to you once a week, and I get everything. I do my lunches and dinners. So what I wish Lumen had was the ability to scan the label and just put the macros in. It's an annoyance because I have to manually go in and put in 55 carbs, 25 protein, 10 fat, and I put the macros in manually. And so to me, that's one of the only cons. One of the pros I think you guys touched on that I just wanted to mention is there's a plethora, that's a good word, of recipes and food ideas and different ways to mix your foods. I think, April, you touched on that, but when you wake up in the morning and you blow into that, it's giving you a list of foods that you should eat in that day to meet that day's goals. And if you have time and you prepare your own meals and you like doing that kind of stuff, this is absolutely the device for you.
This is exactly where my con plays in, because Lumen, girl, get your stock Google Photos out of that app and give me a photo of the real meal. I was so mad the other day because I was like, lasagna, the picture is lasagna. And I'm like, I can have lasagna? That's amazing. And then I go into the little meal to figure out the ingredients, and it gives you ingredients. It's not like a full recipe, how to prepare food or anything like that. It's mostly just the ingredients that are in the item, and then you can auto add it, which I think is an amazing feature. Love that you can just auto add what, they're suggesting to you. But girl, they showed me a picture of lasagna, and then I clicked into the thing and it was it's stuffed shells. And I'm like, what Google stock photos are you using? Someone needs to prepare this meal, or at least give me a photo of the meal that you're telling me to make. Yes. Yes. The lasagna is the only one that I found so far.
Making my mouth water.
I don't know if there's more, but I was real excited about it, clearly.
I have a question. So does it tell you if you've gone over your allotted macros for the day? Does it say stop eating now?
No, pretty much. It pretty much will.
Go to bed.
It leads you down the path of disappointment that you failed that day. Yes.
Yeah, that's just not right.
It gives you positive feedback though. Keep at it. You can do it.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, it does tell you at the end of the day if you accomplished everything and watch the video of the day. It'll go, you crushed it today, and it gives you little confetti.
My biggest con is the scan. Sometimes if trying to scan food, my Fitness Pal, I feel works really well with it, but you got to pay for that luxury.
Yeah.
But the scan is not as great on that as it is on Fitness Pal. Yeah, there's less in the catalog for sure. But I did find too, I don't know if you've noticed this, Bridget or Chad, but when you do scan an item and it's available, you just have to make sure that you're putting in the actual serving that you're eating, because sometimes, and maybe it's a setting that I can change that I haven't found yet, but it doesn't default to the serving that's on the package either. So I just make sure that I, make sure the protein and the carbs and the things match to the serving that I'm eating.
But overall, I love it.
I did notice that too.
So good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
it would be, for those of you guys out there that do listen to us. I know Carlos, because we always get great positive comments from Carlos. I get texts from him after each podcast, and let us know about your experiences, because we'd like to talk about them. And you guys are all, this is a community for all of us, not just for us, and that's why we want questions too. But we got a lot to talk about, so I think the Lumen is the tip of the iceberg. We got another device that 3/4 of the group is on, and that's a Whoop. I started with Whoop maybe 6-8 months ago, maybe a year ago, and I fell on Whoop because I saw all these athletes on various podcasts coming on, and they had this little thing on their wrist, and I'm looking at what the heck is that? So I started researching what's a Whoop, and I was actually on a ride. What put me over the edge, I was on a ride with one of my cycle friends, Joe, and he was showing me his Aura ring, and we were talking about sleep monitoring and just your health metrics and all the data that Aura ring. And we were talking about the Whoop, and he's like, check this podcast out about Whoop. So I went and watched this podcast, and it was on YouTube, and I said, I'm going to try it. So I got the Whoop, and it's been a game changer. It's talk about awareness. I think one of the, nutrition is obviously a big key to what we all do in order to stay healthy and be able to continue to participate in triathlon. But Whoop is a game changer as it comes to your physical health, and the importance of sleep is underrated. None of us really get enough sleep, especially triathletes that work, have families, jobs, and have all the training and podcasts. But the Whoop, it has so many cool features. It tracks your sleep. It tracks your heart rate. It tracks your heart rate variability. It tracks all these really important metrics. They've released a new set of data that you can upload your blood work to the Whoop server, and it'll analyze your blood work. And it gives you a different perspective of the blood results than what your doctor gives. Because when I had my annual physical, my blood work was pretty good. I didn't have any real anomalies. Everything was within the ranges that it's supposed to be for somebody my age. And when I uploaded those same exact blood results to Whoop, I had one that was kind of out of whack. And it's like, okay, we're going to focus on the Whoop device is telling me to focus on certain aspects of my diet and training to help bring down this one marker in my blood work. And so I put in a little program to follow, and it pings me every day if I hit it. Really, it's basically hitting your steps, which we do when we go out for our runs anyway. But if you're not running that day, I still try to hit my steps. And really just an awareness that we didn't have 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And the Whoop, for me, it integrates with Garmin. It tracks your workouts. It tracks your heart rate real time. The new one that I have has a ECG monitoring. So you can take an ECG and it tells you real quick. I think it's a pretty archaic look, according to a couple of my medical friends. But if you're an AFib, it'll tell you that you're an AFib. So go get help, get an aspirin, get to the doctor. Just a really cool device. I gave Bridget my old one, so she's trying that out now. Grace, I talked her into getting one, so she's trying it out. So what do you guys think of Whoop so far?
So far, I love it. So far, so good. It is a lot more accurate than the Garmin tracking sleep-wise right now. So that's kind of what I'm just, looking at. And it's definitely a lot more comfortable to wear because I can't, it bothers me to wear my Garmin watch at night. But I still I'm interested on how much actual sleep I'm getting. So, but yeah, so far I like it. I've only, had it for a couple weeks. So I'm still kind of learning everything. I haven't put my blood work or anything in like that yet. I'm interested to see, what that comes back to. But yeah, so far so good.
Good. Grace?
Yeah, I'm really liking it. The thing I love about it is that you can interact with it. I think that's amazing. I can ask Whoop questions and it'll answer me, and I'll say, what does this mean about my results? And it'll tell me, and it'll say, your workout doing this showed that it knows exactly what kind of workout I'm doing by my heart rate, by my recovery. It'll ask me how I felt after my workout, and I'll tell it, and it'll say, well, that's how I expected you to feel because of X, Y, and Z. I told Chad, I think on Sunday I had my first red day, which meant I hadn't recovered well and I wasn't up for having a good workout. And what it told me actually matched exactly how I felt that day. I had a crap workout. I didn't want to run. I did it. I muscled through it, but I felt exactly how it showed me I would feel. What I don't love about it, and it's not really anything about Whoop that I don't love. I just don't love wearing a Garmin and the Whoop because I think Garmin is much better at tracking workouts. So right now I have something on my left wrist and something on my right wrist. I don't love that. The Whoop is much more comfortable to sleep with, and they communicate with each other. Everything from Garmin uploads to Whoop. If one would have to go, it would probably be the Whoop, and something will probably go only because I don't want to wear two things.
Well, I've looked at the Whoop. If you look at the app, you go to the Whoop store, I think, or Whoop community. There's a store. They actually sell socks, underwear, sports bras, t-shirts, all have little pockets to put the Whoop. So if you don't like it on your wrist, you could put it in like a sports bra. You could put it in like the band of your underwear, or like in the band of.
Does it come in a pack of 7, I hope? Otherwise, I got to wear the same underwear every day.
I don't really have a problem with it. I got a bunch of different bands. You change the band. It's kind of a fashion piece for me.
Okay, I got a quick Whoop funny story. Obviously, because of my ankle, I haven't been able to exercise as much as I normally exercise, but I got a nice little vibration plate for Christmas. Yeah. And I literally had it set for, I'm just sitting in a chair, have my feet on the vibration plate. I'm like, this feels really good. Like it's, like it feels good on my ankle. My Whoop literally came back and was like, great exercise. You've been surfing for 10 minutes. And I'm like, you burned like 100 calories. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. My Whoop thought I was surfing. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Another thing the Whoop will do, I'll just say, which I haven't had to do, but it will plan a workout for you, which I think is really, like I said, you can totally interact with it. The AI on it, I think, is awesome.
Yeah. Some of the technical stuff about Whoop, because we're talking about our own experience without really, for those that don't know what Whoop is, there's probably a bunch out there. There's a lot that probably know what it is or about it, but there's an enormous amount of material out there. If you're interested in Whoop, go look at some of the podcasts that Whoop puts out. They got some really smart scientific people that do this, but generally what Whoop tracks when you interface with the app, you're going to have three rings, and it's kind of like your metrics that you're tracking. So it shows your sleep and the percent that your sleep was productive, 0 through 100%. Your recovery from the previous day, and these are all color coded, 0 through 100%. And I think you have to be over 80% to be in the green, and it's hard to get in the green sometimes. And then strain is kind of a Whoop centric thing. So they've established this marker that. I believe 21 or 22 is the highest you can go. I think it's 21. And when you do a strenuous event, it sets your baseline. The longer you wear it, the more data it has to establish your baseline. So the less movement you'll see on a day-to-day basis. But generally speaking, you have an average strain for the day based on what you do over the course of, say, 30 days. And once your baseline is established, it lets you know when you're above or below that baseline. So if you're under training, you know that you need to kick up your workouts. If you're overtraining, you know you got to dial it back. But in no event can you get over 21. And just an example, when I did Ironman Chattanooga, 13 plus hour day, going all day long, I hit 20.5. So I didn't hit the maximum strain for the day in doing an Ironman. I've seen some of the athletes that they interview that are like intense. Lucy Charles, one of my favorite female triathletes, wears Whoop, and her podcast with Whoop is awesome. So I encourage you to look at that. But I think her baseline strain is somewhere in the 16 or 17. It's crazy that the amount of strain she puts on herself. So those are like the main metrics that you're looking at. It has a health monitor feature. So it monitors 5 components: your respiratory rate, your blood oxygen level, your resting heart rate, your heart rate variability, and your skin temperature. So these are all baselined. Once you wear Whoop for, I think, 7 days it takes to get all these baselines together. It reads your heart rate real time. Mine is right now 56 as I'm talking to everybody. It has a stress monitor. So the stress monitor shows your daily stress. It could be internal stress from a workout, could be external stress from work, but it monitors that stress, and that's an important, if you're having a shitty day, you kind of can look at the Whoop and say, yeah, I had a really tough conference call at that time of the day, and my blood was boiling, and you can see the spike in your stress. It's eerie how this thing works. And then it reviews your day for you, tells you where you did good, where you did bad, where you can improve, and then when you should get in bed for your next night's sleep to prepare for your workout. Tracks your activities. It catches, like Bridget, that's a funny story about surfing, because it's caught a couple weird ones for me. I think surfing was one of them. It doesn't recognize indoor cycling readily. It says an activity was sensed, but you have to go in and change it to cycling, and then it picks it up. but it always picks up swimming, always picks up running, always picks up outdoor cycling. So those activities are cool. And then it gives you a journal to track what you did for the day. When did you eat? What did you eat? It's just another way to create awareness. It's not asking specifics, how many grams, like Lumen. It doesn't interact with Lumen, but it does interact with Garmin. Some of the pros and cons that I've noticed on Whoop, I've had to disable Whoop from Zwift because it conflicts. It's trying to pick up my heart rate on my wrist when I wear a chest strap. So they kind of fight for who's going to report my heart rate. So I kind of kicked Whoop off of Zwift, but that's really one of the only little glitches I've come up with. And it's probably user error. I'm sure the programmers have accounted for that. But so that's it on Whoop on my end. April, we're working on you. We'll get you on it soon.
I don't like it because it tells my friends to go to bed and stop hanging out with me.
My Whoop is telling me right now that it's past my bedtime.
Yeah, mine just flashed. So a couple of these we can kind of blow through quickly. Lumen and Whoop are two really nice ones, I think, that deserve that amount of discussion. From a watches standpoint, I think we're all Garmin users. I'm not familiar as much with Coros. I know Mark wears Coros. He uses Coros. I know a couple people that use Coros and like it. It's very similar to the Garmin ecosystem, but I recommend people that are doing multiple sports that have lots of different devices like a triathlete does, try to stay in the same ecosystem because it's just less headache for you, especially me. But the Apple Watch does a lot of the same stuff that Garmin does. I just think Garmin is a more robust for training and for tracking than Apple. I've actually worn an Apple Watch and a Garmin watch on the same exact run, and the Garmin is more accurate on the mileage and the pacing. It's easier for me to see. As I get older, I can't see as well without glasses, and I don't wear glasses to run. So some of the reasons I use Garmin. Samsung's another watch brand that devices that a lot of people use. But I think generally from a watches standpoint, there's so many choices with Garmin. I use the Phoenix 8. It's kind of it does every type of athletic activity you want. There's Forerunner. There's a bunch of different models that if you don't do 3 sports, you really only need it for running. There's a model for that. So I think everybody.
Yeah, and I think your comment about Apple and Samsung makes sense. I used to have a Samsung watch like before I started getting back into being an athlete, but like those are more for like the entertainment space, right? Like they're not for training. They're not, they're for the everyday workouts, not for the triathletes, the gamers, whatever. But I've also had, because you don't have to spend, a gazillion dollars on these things either. You can find them on refurbished ones on Amazon. You can also triathletes are always switching out their gear and stuff. So please, we're talking about all this tech and this gear. Don't feel the need to buy brand new. Half of my triathlon equipment is hand-me-downs, and some of them are so special to me because now I'm going down a rabbit hole, but I'm so passionate for some reason about my bike shoes that Bridget's sister gave me because she did like four full Ironmans in these bike shoes. So every time I put them on, I feel like I'm putting on Wonder Woman shoes. But that's just to say, don't triathlons and these 3 sports are very expensive. So please find a place where you can find them a little less expensive. But I did have a VivoFit Garmin before, which was great for just general strength training or runs and stuff. But if you're looking for, because even the app changes based on the watch that you have, what's the word I'm looking for? Not higher quality, but a more training watch is going to unlock some additional features on your apps as well. So if you want to hack that data. So, it's not so much the watch as it is what features you're going to get with the watch that you choose, which sounds like it, Captain Obvious, but it also, integrates into the apps in a different way.
It does all 3 sports that win triathlon, but that's like the runner's watch of choice. That's the one I see on most of our runner friends. But I think, as we're talking about all these different devices, we still got a bunch to cover. One resource I would recommend, if I haven't said it already, this guy DC Rainmaker. I think he is somewhere in the Amsterdam, I think is where he actually lives. But he's got a ton of content out there. He tests out every device there is. Every time there's a new Garmin watch, he's got a review on it. Every time there's a new cycle computer, he's got a review on it. And he does them all. The Garmin, Wahoo, Polar, Hammer, every device related to, he's mostly cycling, but every device that you could possibly use, he is out there testing and gives you his review on it. He's not beholden to any of these vendors. All these vendors give him their gear to try out so that he will do reviews on it. But he's a really good resource. DC Rainmaker is his name. Look him up on YouTube. Lots of good stuff there. I actually bought before I got the Whoop, I bought a sleep monitor from Garmin. It's called the Garmin Index. And it does almost everything the Whoop does, not quite as robust. Garmin's really trying to boost their sleep and overall ecosystem and platform to match all these other devices out there, because Garmin's the 800-pound gorilla. But I tried the sleep monitor, and it's like a 3 or 4 inch wide nylon or latex band that goes around your arm. It has a little sensor on it, and you would just wear it to sleep. It's not an active device. You can't interact with it. It downloads the data to your Garmin Connect pretty seamlessly. Works very well. I just wasn't real comfortable with it on my arm sleeping at night. And that's why I ended up going with the Whoop. That's another device that's out there. It's a little bit more. There's no annual fee to it. You buy it. It's like $120. You own it, and it always will interact with your Garmin Connect. And I know Apple does sleep monitoring. Again, I think all of these devices, they're a blessing and a curse, because data overload is a real thing. And how much data do we really need? Yeah.
And the Garmin trolling that you get, like Garmin told me today I was unproductive, and I was like, damn, I thought that felt real good. Thanks, Garmin. Grace, what kind of watch do you have? Did you guys see that Garmin is now in the nutrition space? That
Yes.
They launched a nutrition feature in their app?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a paid part of their app, but if anybody's using it, I'm super interested in the reviews. I was looking at the reviews today, and they weren't great,
Yep.
but if anybody is using it, I'm super curious what your thoughts
I've seen
are.
it. I haven't used it yet, but it's something I'm a techie geek, so I will certainly look at that and have a report for you.
I have a Garmin Forerunner, I think like a 255. So not a super fancy Forerunner, but a Forerunner. It does what I need it to.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, gets the
Yes,
job
it
done.
does.
Still trolls you just like any of the
Helps
other
me when I'm
Garmin watches.
unproductive. Yeah.
One of the other devices, kind of on this general overall device topic, is the heart rate monitors. There's a couple out there, Polar and Garmin. I haven't used Polar. I use Garmin HRM Pro. April's about to start using an HRM Pro as well. What I like about the heart rate is I use it for running and cycling. It is seamless, interacts with Garmin Connect. Your real-time data appears on your watch because it's all tied together while you're actually running or riding. You don't need a watch to ride because it also is connected to the cycle computers. And it's another data point. But what I like most about the Garmin HRM Pro is it has an altimeter in it, which is important if you're interested in running dynamics and the metrics associated with that, like your vertical oscillation, your vertical ratio, your cadence, all these different things that it tracks to create a more efficient running gait.
Well, sweet. Hold on. So I am having an issue because it's so cold here, I'm running on an indoor track at one of our local high schools for my run workouts right now. And just my watch is not tracking my pace or my distance accurately. Like, I'm choosing the indoor track as my workout, but it's slow. Like, I'm full out sprinting and it's like, you're running a 10-minute mile. You need to run faster. Like, will the heart rate monitor more accurately track that? Like, I know that it needs to build some information.
Don't
but then
think that the heart rate monitor will. I think sounds like a GPS issue with the indoor track. And there's a setting in your Garmin watch, and I think you've already set it, so I could be way off base. But we were having an issue in the Quarry swimming with it tracking properly, and we had to set the watches to multiple satellites. So we'll have to look at that
But I think for an indoor track, I don't think it uses GPS because it immediately went to like it's ready to track. It never said like initializing GPS. So I think that it runs on like probably my average cadence, vertical, all of that stuff. So I'm wondering if I can get a better, more accurate read from the heart rate monitor by doing that. Like I would probably have to, like in theory, run outside with it first.
All right. We're going to get that on the board for everybody.
Yeah,
But yeah,
science.
let's definitely
Let's go.
test that out because I'm interested to know as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's frustrating. It was like unproductive workout and then gives me, you know, what I thought in my stats. So
discipline specific gear. We talked about general health gear. I think we got a little bit into some specifics, but cycle computers are important for us. I know some of us use watches, and that's fine. As you get more into the triathlon journey and you become serious about it or not, you're going to want a cycle computer. There's various brands, Garmin, Wahoo, Hammerhead. There's probably a couple others that I am not mentioning. I only have familiarity with Garmin and Hammerhead. I love my Garmin cycle computers and Grace. I recycled one to Grace and I got one for you also, April, an older one that'll get you guys started with a cycling computer. I think it's important for us in training for triathlon because your power is so important and you want to be able to train to power, train to heart rate, and understand how each feels. And I think the cycle computer does a lot more than just a watch is going to give you outside. And it's going to give you the same experience as you have with Zwift and for Grace with Peloton, where it's tracking all these different metrics, so you know what your cadence is and how that relates to your wattage output. You know, I have the Garmin 1050. It's a pretty robust device. There's various different levels of the Garmin cycle computers that for really any budget. There's the basic one that will do everything you need to the enhanced one that'll tell you when a thunderstorm is coming. So I think for us as triathletes, a cycle computer is kind of a device that everybody should really look at investing in.
Let me say that because again, triathlons are so expensive. And I did that half Ironman last year without a bike computer. But now on the other side with a trainer that is giving me that power and that cadence, it is this just like everything else, super informative. You can do a race and you can cycle without a bike computer, but I am seeing like so much more out of my bike workouts, having that trainer and seeing the power and doing, you know, speed workouts or, you know, where before I would rely on, it sounds so silly, cycle class to get some sort of, you know, workout as opposed to just sitting on my trainer at one speed. But now that we have the Wahoo trainer, the Kicker Core trainer, it's pretty awesome. And being able to see your power and competing with all the other racers and stuff like that is really cool. But it's not needed. As long as you have a bicycle, you can race.
I think as people go through their journey, you want to understand how to train more efficiently, and it's definitely it's not a barrier to entry into triathlon. If you have a watch, you can absolutely do this sport with just a watch. You can do this sport without a watch. And I mean, case in point, case in point. Yeah. Last summer we were training out at the quarry. I met a young man at the health club swimming, and told me he was training for a half Ironman and asked what I was training for. We talked about that, and he'd never done a half distance Ironman, never did any triathlon before. This was his first one. He was teaching himself how to swim. He was teaching himself how to bike, and he was training on a mountain bike for a half Ironman. All he had was a watch. Yeah. Didn't care. He had no care in the world. His name was Sam Papyrus. He's an awesome young man. He did amazing at the half Ironman that he did in Madison, Wisconsin, all without all these fancy devices. So it's absolutely not a barrier to entry. Just trying to give the listeners, you know, things to think about, experiences, and you know what works for us. The ability to make the decision.
Yeah. I'm just playing devil's advocate because, you know, if you want to do a triathlon without all the expenses, it can be done. But now that we're competitive and we have, you know, some races under our belt, I really like the bike computers. to then Chad's comment about that, it is really nice.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm ready for those frickin' Rockford Hills.
So the cycle
Let's
computer
go.
leads to another device. And again, this one is not a cheap device. It's a power meter. Some bikes come with them when you buy them. Some bikes don't have them. You can put them on afterwards. There's several different types. There's single crank, dual crank, pedal power meters. There's a couple that are made by Garmin. They're very expensive. Asiomo is a little bit more affordable. There's a Quark device that goes on the actual chainring. I've had experience with many of them. I've got the Asiomo pedals on one of the bikes. I've got crank power meters on another bike, and I have a Quark power meter on another bike. That should tell you that I have too many bikes, and hopefully my wife doesn't listen to this. But I think the power meter is another device that gives you a reference point, so you know how you're training and you know what your power output feels like. Because when you get into a long race, you don't want to think you feel good at the beginning, because you always do, and then you get halfway through and you're blown up and you can't compete the way you want to compete. So it really gives you an awareness. And power meters is, when I started cycling, I didn't have power meters on my bikes, and I gradually started putting them on, and it's one of those devices that I think is a nice to have. It's not a necessity, but if you're interested in power and your wattage output, certainly something to look at.
Grace, you have a bike computer, right?
It just does cadence and time and mileage. It doesn't do power. Chad gave me one of his old computers that I haven't hooked up yet. So mine would tell me, just cadence, pretty much.
Gotcha. I'm really curious how you like it on your bike, because Grace, if we haven't mentioned this before, Grace is also an incredible cyclist and did a Ragnar, which I couldn't even tell you. Like, in my head, it's 500 miles.
Steady Eddie.
Grace knows what's up on the bike too.
Steady Eddie. Yes. And without a power meter or fancy tools.
Yep.
I just got out and a gravel bike. I did all my tries so far on a gravel bike, but I just recently got a used tri bike, so I'll be trying that out once the weather warms up.
Yep, love it. So a resource for power meters is, you can ask us, you can send an email if you have a question, or on Facebook, ask a question. But there's go to the Power Meter City website, and they have all the various brands and styles of power meters available there. There's lots of other places you can buy them, but I like Power Meter City because they have all the different brands and styles available. Some of the websites that I found only have certain brands. And anyway, Power Meter City. GCN Network is another content provider on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. They have lots of content on how power meters work, what they're intended to do, why they feel that people who are in triathlon and cycling in general should look at potentially adding that to the bike. So check out some of that content. We kind of talked a little bit about the run specific devices with the watches. There's a couple other that we can talk about, but there's a resource to look at, which I've circulated the podcast. It's not a podcast. It's more just YouTube content from these guys over in Europe called the Physio Boys, and they explain the running dynamics and in very simple terms, and they really help you understand what these metrics are. And it's vertical oscillation, left-right balance, the amount of time you're on each foot in your running stride, your vertical ratio, your stride length, your cadence. All of that helps you become a more efficient runner when you're looking at those metrics. You're not looking at them necessarily mid-run, but analyzing your run afterwards is helpful if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So check the Physio Boys YouTube content out. It keeps good stuff. There's a Stride power meter, STRYD, that you can put on your shoe. It tracks your power while you're running. I don't use it. I've seen it. I've investigated it. Don't think I necessarily need it because I'm not burning up the track. But that's another device that's out there. And then from a swimming standpoint, there is some cool stuff. The Garmin watch, obviously, real swimmers don't wear watches. They look at the clock and they know how far they swam and what their pace was. And, I certainly need a watch to tell me. Form goggles. There's a couple of different goggles that have an LED display in the actual eye lens. Tracks your head roll, tracks your stroke rate, your speed, tells you if your head's out of alignment. There's some really cool stuff that really helps. All the really advanced swim coaches that I've followed and seen content from really like the Form goggles. They're pretty expensive for swimming goggles. I sent mine back because I'm not a good enough swimmer to have that much going on in my brain while I'm trying to swim for my life.
That's super interesting. There's also this really cheap piece of equipment that you can buy that helps your kick. They're called fins.
Yeah. I don't, my fins are broke.
Sorry, I'm just ribbing Chad over here.
But yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, we've covered a lot. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about. We wanted to kind of talk about the devices that we interact with and have experience with, and feel free to ask questions. And like April said, if you're new to the sport and you don't have all the bells and whistles, send us an email or a comment, because that we might have some recycled stuff laying around that we're willing to part with. And I'm not opposed to hand-me-downs, and I don't think anybody else should be, especially if you're new to the sport. But it is an addictive sport. It is a very expensive sport, especially if you get bit by the bike bug, like some people. And
that only
we're not
mentions
talking
like
about
3, 4, 5
number
bikes.
of bikes. But so no, this is
But just as welcoming. I think triathletes are just always so excited to see another athlete out there. So we just want you out there. So if we can lend a hand, recycle some equipment, or lend something out, we're more than happy to do so if you want to give it a try. So
and I'm an early adopter of new devices. I like to have the newest. So I tend to like to hand my stuff down, and I love doing it because it's helping somebody else get into the sport. And so don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah, that's why Chad curates all of our wish list. Oh, what I did want to do though, for all of our triathlon or MTC podcast listeners, we're in the works of creating a curated list of all of our favorite items for you all. Some things obviously more expensive than others, but some things even just like our favorite swimsuits, because, I don't want all my butt cheeks hanging out. I just want the right swimsuit that makes me fast. So yeah, that is also in the works. So outside of the Lumen that everybody's super stoked about, we thought it would be super helpful for everybody if we made everybody a triathlon wish list. Chad makes our tech wish list, so
and
we'll make
I will say that
our listeners
nobody
a triathlon wish list. So
in
soon to
this
come.
triathlon world wants to see any part of my butt cheek hanging out. So the swimsuit choices are going to be quite limited for my choices.
Very long legged. Chad did almost have to wear the Speedo in the bottom of his drawer though last weekend because his usual
It had a
swimsuit
wardrobe-
was
had a wardrobe
a little aged, a
malfunction.
little stretched out there. It was
We're
definitely
talking
going to
about
be.
cakes.
And the funny
Dang,
part
Amazon
of it
is
was,
a little too fast with
I
delivery.
put it on, I went downstairs. My wife was sitting at the table, and she said, "You are not wearing that, are you?" And I sent not on me, but on the floor. I sent a picture to the group here, and I think April's comments was, "I have no words." I think Bridget was looking for.
Bridget was very
failure.
supportive.
No,
She was she was definitely on the side to get me embarrassed.
I think you should rock it.
Absolutely not. I think not. Not ever going to happen.
Well, Bridget grew up a swimmer, so that's, commonplace for her. So I feel like she was like, you're a real swimmer now. That's your initiation.
So, well, this is fun. So, next show, I think
Funny.
we're gonna talk about some gear, training gear, kind of brands that we like, and that's gonna be fun because like we've said numerous times, this is an expensive sport. So, if you're in it, we're gonna give you all the resources to spend all your money.
Or just show up. All you need is a swimsuit, any kind of bike, and a garage sale bike, and a pair of gym shoes.
We'll point you in the right direction.
Anybody can be a triathlete. Yeah. And then coming up soon, just like I'm just going to mention again, because we want to see some new faces in person, we're going to do that group bike on Zwift. Well, I guess we won't see your face there, but we'll hear you hopefully on the Discord. But we're going to ride on Zwift Saturday at 3:30 Central Time. PM. And then Sunday, I had planned to, because this week is supposed to be like bitterly cold here. So I am going to the Lincoln Way West track on Sunday morning if anybody is interested
I
in
will be
doing a
We're at
Sunday.
run.
Sunday is Grace's running day. Grace, don't ask any questions. We'll just tell you when and where to be.
Tell me when and where.
Yeah, no, that's it's nice. The high schools have availability with the indoor tracks, and it's a nice place to run. So Lincoln Way West, Grace, that's where we'll be.
Yeah, and man, they have those heaters blasting, so it's hot in there.
To be determined. We'll post it.
FYI.
Perfect.
To be determined. Yeah. Gotta follow us on
Yes,
Facebook to get that information.
Well, we look forward to the next show. If you have questions, comments, send us an email, drop us a comment, and we will be happy to respond. Like we said many times, we love doing this. This is fun. You guys are awesome. Bridget, April, Grace, love you guys.
Love you too.
You too.
See you guys next time.
Bye,
See you
everybody.
next time.
Love you all.